Yo, what's going on, y'all? I'm Cavell Anderson, and we're back with another Veve and Ecomi video. In this one, we're going to be touching on a very, very interesting topic. And I wanted to make this video just so you all can understand that as investors, you have to have your own strategy, you have to do your own research, and you have to know what you have your conviction in. Because there's someone who responded to one of my videos in the comment section, and they said something that I think a lot of people would agree with that I completely disagree with, and that's fine. Like, it's completely fine. Like, I don't mind their opinion, because what they believe is what's going to give them conviction in what they're doing, in their strategy, because what they're doing works for them based around their beliefs. And this is why you don't follow anyone and you always do your own research, because what they can get conviction with, how they get their conviction isn't the same way that I get mine. And we have different approaches to how we invest based on the way that we see things. So it's some people who will never get behind a $10 Omi because they just cannot see and rationalize how that would ever happen. No matter how much it's explained, no matter how much it's broken down, some people will never be able to see it. And honestly, not being able to see it may be a safer way to invest, because if you can only rationalize like 10 cent, 20 cent, that means that you're going to invest a hell of a lot more money in, because you're only expecting it to stay low. I mean, to be fair, you could sell a hell of a lot sooner than before it even gets close to its peak, but at least you're making your profit. If you're selling, if you buy so much more because you think that it's going to go so much lower, you know, you're putting yourself in a position to where you're going to be able to make money sooner, and then you can still have a bag, a just in case bag, and your just in case bag will probably make you a hell of a lot more money. So, I mean, you're set up even better if you have lower expectations most of the time. If you do believe in $10 Omi or $100 Omi or something crazy, you think, okay, you think, okay, I'll put in $1,000. That's all I should need, right? I'm okay with that. So that mindset gets you in a comfortable place, not a just in case place. So you take different approaches based on the things that you believe. But before we jump into it, be sure to drop that thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on notifications. But yeah, so let's jump into it. And the point that I want to get across is, be okay with having a difference of opinion and believe in what you believe, because your beliefs is what's going to influence how you approach a project when you're an investor. So yeah, but let's get into it. So he says, Anthony Harvey says, the point here is that you are confusing NFTs with branded IP NFTs. The two things are not the same. Branded IP NFTs do not need to provide any utility whatsoever. You are purchasing a proven, well-known, and loved character. Now, I couldn't completely disagree more. I think that everything is going to need utility. Even video games have utility now. They're adding video games are utility themselves. The video game is the utility, yet they're adding utilities thanks to NFTs. They're adding utilities to video games, where now the added bonus of playing video games is to make money. So this is just to show you an example that everything in the world is getting utility. So what he's basically saying is, nope, this character is old and trusted. That's why it can just be boring and nothing in a world where everything has extra and added additional functionality, benefits, and things like that. So everything in the world has extra utility and benefits, and these brands, they can just be old and dusty, and that's enough. That doesn't even make sense. It doesn't add up. If video games need utility, you're telling me this statue, just because it's an old statue, and it's not even an old statue, the digital version of these statues are brand spanking new. The digital version, yeah, it's the first time on the blockchain, but let me read a little bit more. I'm gonna read a little bit more, and then I'm gonna address this for you all. Branded IPs do not need to provide any utility whatsoever. You are purchasing a proven, known, and loved character. If you want utility, then that's your utility. When you understand the collecting world properly, you would realize this. With non-branded NFTs, they need to provide different types of utility in order to make them attractive enough for people to part their money for. That's not to say that branded IP won't provide some type of utility for some of their products, but don't expect anything over the top. Big brands are not to waste their money. So the reason that this doesn't really make sense to me is that he said, when you understand the collecting world properly. I'm not a collector, but I understand what it means to collect. I understand why people find certain things valuable. And then there's different reasons as well. So me as a collector, this will be my mindset to it. So for instance, if I collected guns from like World War II or something, like some really, really old guns, whatever the special ones are, I know nothing about it. But the special one about it, like the ones that hasn't, if I was a collector, I would be collecting one that's super, super old, hasn't been shot in like 1,000 years. That's valuable. I see the value in that. Okay, the last time this was, this was fired was by somebody under these extreme conditions. The world around it was different. These skyscrapers weren't built. Some like, like just different, stuff that holds true, significant historical value. That's what I would like. So Veve recreating this World War II gun wouldn't be valuable to me. The gun itself is valuable because of what it actually went through in the physical world, and that's why it would be valuable. So if you wanted me as a collector to buy this same gun in a digital version, a digital format, just to match the fact that I got the real one, it would need some type of utility for me still. Like let's talk about the comic books. You got these comic books, yeah, great. The first time on the blockchain. Like that's like saying that this was the first time something was put on the internet. That it's the equivalent. So just because you take because these comic books are on the internet. These comic books went from the physical world and they've started posting it on the internet behind subscription services. Yeah, people bought a subscription to get access to all of them, but no one coveted these just because it was the first time they appeared on the internet. And that's the equivalent of what NFTs are. The thing is, the blockchain is overhyped. The NFT term is overhyped. So people think that just because it's an NFT, that's all the value that it needs. No, it's the same thing as it being the first time putting it on the internet. Did anyone care? No, because the internet is just a normal, everyday way of life. The blockchain is going to become that as well. The blockchain is not going to be anything special where people are like, oh, the first thing, what was the first thing ever on it? It's like, yes, some people are going to think that way and covet those things, but we're talking about the majority. The majority of the people who care about this IP and stuff. We're talking about the majority. So yeah, that being said, man, you have to look at it from a perspective that actually makes sense. You have to look at it from a perspective that makes sense. These branded IPs are also going to need utility, in my opinion, simply because of the fact that everything else in the world is going to have utility. The biggest benefit for this IP stuff is that it can bring more utility unlike anything else in the world. That is the benefit of this IP, and that's the thing that people are not seeing and people aren't realizing. People think that it's enough. It's completely enough that this is just IP stuff. Yes, it's enough in this current world today, day and age, because we got little doodles from Gary Vee, and this is the stuff that's out here selling. We got doodles from Gary Vee. We got people computer generating the same picture over and over with slight variations. Yeah, when that's your competition, it's okay to suck. It's okay to really be sucky, but just be designed a little bit better and have an IP. But what about when these NFTs come out here and start actually offering things of value, things of real value? What happens at that point? Because that's the part that people aren't realizing. These companies that you say don't want to waste their money, they're going to have entire departments built around building utility. Utility is going to be how they earn the most money. Because the more, and this is what people are not understanding about this, the more utilities they add, the more the NFTs go for, which means the more money that they continue to make off the same thing. They don't have to keep making these products over and over and over again. They don't have to keep innovating and making new products. They can keep the old products in circulation and add new utilities to these same old products. So now you go to a place where you can design less products, but you can still make more money because you're giving these old products more benefits to holding them. So you're always making money off of the same old recycled things that you did in the past. You stop having the need for creativity from the design standpoint and more utility. Like you can use your theme. You can discount Disney products. You can use your theme park. You can add additional features and rides and stuff to your theme park. You can add new sections to your theme park. You can do all this stuff to integrate your same old stuff and make some money off of it moving into the future. And this is how you have to see things. You have to understand this. At the end of the day, I understand what these collectors are saying. Oh, it's the first time it's on the blockchain, but they're still in the mindset that being the first on the blockchain actually matters. I was questioning that a while ago. I've made my fair share of videos talking about, oh, the first on the blockchain is going to be significant for this reason. But this is what happens. You all have seen my whole journey advancing and becoming better and becoming wiser, studying other projects. And this is why I say it's important to study the entire space. These Veve fanboys who just blindly only look at Veve, you're not going to actually understand what it really means to be an NFT. Like you just assume that, oh, no, Veve has the IP, these other places don't. That's why they're going to have to do that extra stuff. No, because those other, and maybe yes, because everybody else has a bunch of benefits to actually holding their stuff. That means that Veve is the only thing out here not offering benefits for holding the things that they have. You know, like Disney is the one that can slap down all this stuff. Like, what other NFTs can give you access to a theme park? What other NFTs can do all this? But he actually even talked about that. So let's go what he says. Some of the stupid things I hear the Veve community talking about when it comes to utility, like I hope Disney provide a week free access to Disney. I hope I get free access to Club 33. These things are never going to happen. In truth, be happy with what you have because the blue chip pieces are immensely valuable. And if anyone decides to provide any form of utility, be grateful. So he's talking about be grateful because the blue chips are valuable. The blue chips are not old. The blue chips are not rare. These have not, like the comic books on Veve are not comic books that survived these mass burnings and stuff that I was hearing about during the wars. These are not what did that. The physicals are what did that. So as a collector, I would put them out that weight and value into the physicals. Yeah, there's going to be people with so much money that they're just going to buy whatever, but that's what rich people do. That does not mean the play with Veve is the casual, the consumer, the casual people here. That's the play with Veve. So yeah, you're always gonna have rich people blowing money on dumb shit. That's never gonna stop. But if you're trying to bank your whole investment strategy around these rich people, that's me personally, I'm not doing that. I'm banking on the hundreds of millions of people that could join Veve and how they're gonna think, what they're gonna care about, what they're gonna value, because I would rather have 100 million people who would want to pay and buy what I have than to have a few rich people and hope that mine is the one that they choose. Because if I have, like, because even if we are going to go that route, let's say a Todd, let's say Todd is valuable. They're only going to want the top 1% of Todds or the top 10% of Todds. They're probably not going to want, once you start getting to some of the trash lowest mints, yeah, you're going to be able to get a decent amount for it. But I mean, who knows what decent is? Because if something comes out where you can start getting some time off, some discounts at Disney or a free vacation to Disney and stuff like that, at the point where you're up against that and you're compared to that, whatever you feel is just valuable just because it's old or it's based on something old, like you have to understand this, the history is not tied to these NFTs. The histories that collectors respect is not tied to these NFTs. It's not. It's just not. These NFTs are something that they sat behind a computer, remade digitally, or even just didn't even fully remake digitally. They polished some of this stuff up and then just started selling it and slapped the NFT tag on it. They said, NFT, like they literally took in-game assets from certain video games, polished it up, shined it up a little bit, made the lighting look a little bit better on it, and then slapped the NFT sign on it, and that's what they're selling to us. And this is why I don't invest the same way that these true collectors invest, because I understand this. I understand that no effort went into this. No effort went into developing this stuff. And I understand that the world is going to heavily move towards utility because everything is going to offer utility. So big brands are going to need utility more than anything. And big brands have the advantage because they have more assets to give utility with. So they own more properties. They own more building. They own more real estate. So with this real estate, they can open up new businesses where it can fully work with their NFTs. He's saying companies don't want to waste money. It's not a waste of money. They're going to make if you understand what it means to have utility and how they're going to make money, they make way more money adding utility. You're absolutely stupid as these big companies if you don't add utility, because you're going to make a hell of a lot less money. And you're going to need a hell of a lot more products. Eventually, Veve is going to release everything. At the point where they release everything, your cash cow starts to die. Disney and all these brands, they got all this content to release right now, so they can keep going for a while. But it's going to die eventually. with utility, it never has to die. You add an NFT experience at Disney World, you're always going to have that experience. So you do that upfront cost, the upfront cost to add these additional rides and things like that, then you never have to do it again. And now NFTs holders have a whole unique experience. And that's marketing. Like that, regular people walking through the park, they're like, why can't I get that experience? Oh, you gotta buy some NFTs through the Veve app. That's the ultimate form of promotion. Now people are interested, and value is now tied to these NFTs. More value is now tied, and it's actually converting people to liking the NFTs who go to the park, because now there's an experience that they don't have access to without buying the NFTs. So this is why it's important to fully understand the space, because I mean, this is one of those comments that it will sound like it's good. It will sound like it makes sense, but it actually doesn't. It actually doesn't. You really have to understand the space. Like, I understand what it means to be a collector. Just because I'm not a collector doesn't mean I don't understand it. I don't understand what makes certain collectors' items valuable, because I don't care to. But I understand what for me personally, as if I was a collector, I understand what would make something valuable to me. I understand like a rock from one of the pyramids, like the Pyramid of Giza. If I knew that rock, this was a rock that's been flooded by water, because these pyramids and stuff was underwater at one point in human history. Like it's a lot of this stuff. Some of this stuff was there thousands of years ago. So if I knew that this rock dated back thousands of years, then you know how many different tribes and people and stuff like that touched this rock, and like that would be valuable to me. You know how long this sat underwater? Just a rock could be valuable to me from a collecting standpoint. Like, but best believe you release a rock on Veve that matches that same. No, it does not hold the same value. This rock was just digitally created by some nerd in like 10 minutes or a day max. Like, come on now, it's not the same thing. And I know the Veve community wants to believe this, because this is how you're going to make your money. Like, you don't want to accept the fact that understanding what's valuable is going to be a hell of a lot harder than you make it out to be. You don't want to think like that. You don't want to rationalize, oh, it's going to be difficult to see what's valuable. But you're going to have to wake up and smell the roses sooner or later. You're going to have to wake up. So yes, it's going to actually take work to understand what's going to be valuable and why it's going to be valuable. Are there going to be some pieces that's just so significant that they don't need utility? Yes, there will be some pieces like that. Like Todd, I believe, is one of those pieces. But outside of Todd and partner statue, it gets very difficult to know what is actually going to be these pieces. So that's why I'm going to leave it. Let me know what you all think in the comment section down below. Like I said, we just have a difference in opinion. I just explained why I feel strongly in the opposing point of view. But yeah, let me know what you all think. Let me know how you all feel. Some of you might agree with him. Some of you all might understand what I'm saying and agree with me. Like, regardless, like, have conviction towards whatever you believe. But this is why I believe what I believe, and I stand true to these convictions, because I feel like everything that he said, I've taken into consideration. I've considered. I fully understand. I also fully understand the NFT technology. I understand this holistically. It doesn't sound like he understands all of it to me. But yeah, let me know what you all think. Drop that thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out, fam.